This is Nick Nolte, and you're listening to the Movie Guys.
Attention. The Movie Guys love movies. Any comments made about Child Protective Services investigating Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's child-rearing techniques are purely for entertainment purposes only. And not surprising.
I would think when they were making the kids work from a young age, that would have been suspicious, but we just have to wait till she's in bed with a man to have people be concerned?
Did you not get the press release that you love his kids?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm told.
I didn't realize. I know that I saw his daughter once when I was watching Oprah because she was on teaching me how to whip my hair back and forth.
You know, it really isn't that big a scandal because if you look at the picture of who she's in bed with, it's actually Chris Hansen.
You were stupid in so many
Willow
ways.
Smith, for
So
those of
many
you who don't
ways.
know. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's not a sexy shot, but there's a whole big
No.
brouhaha because, I don't know, they're famous,
Every
I guess?
13-year-old was in bed with older men.
Okay, where you're
Just
from.
me? Just
where
me?
you're from.
Western New York.
Hey, welcome to the movie Showcast, everybody, part of the vast and sprawling Movie Guys empire. Pardon my French, Rooney, but you're an asshole. You've reached ground zero for all things movies and comedy. We bring the two together right here on our show every week with jokes, rants, sketches, characters, bits, special guests, and more as we broadcast from the Admirals Club in the heart of Burbank Airport's flyover zone. They don't stop making movies, so we don't stop making comedy shows about movies, which means you can get a new show every week. Basically, search the Movie Guys anywhere you like on the World Wide Webs, and we come right up. iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, and of course, themovieguys.net, absolutely free. And we encourage you to subscribe wherever you can, and if you do, still no charge. Newly posted to themovieguys.net, you can catch all the latest movie trailers, including the newest Guardians of the Galaxy preview, which is hot, and the first extended look at Christopher Nolan's Interstellar preview that's playing in front of Godzilla. You can catch that at our site as well. And you can find our latest shows like this one on comedypodcastnetwork.com, break.com, iocomedynetwork.com, and clips from the show on Funny or Die. And the last bit of housekeeping.
My God.
Check us out on
Yes.
WBAD.net Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern and JonasMountRadio.com Thursdays at 6.
What we're saying is stop listening right
Yes,
now.
right.
Whatever you're listening
Go
to,
listen
we're
to something
available
else.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Go to
think
some other format immediately.
I think it's fair to say we are sweeping the internet. That is a sweep.
We're Swiffering, if nothing else.
Squeegeeing. We're squeegeeing.
Your hosts for the hardest working podcast on the airwaves include myself, Paul Preston, here with Karen Volpe, Lee Caius, and Adam Witt. And later in the show, we'll be joined by the director of a new film on VOD. That's what the kids are calling video on demand. And in select theaters next week, The Big Ask, Thomas Beatty, who will be in here, with the star of the film, David Krumholtz. So
Yay.
much fun will be had
I
as
hear
ever.
he's something.
He is somebody.
And we bring you our signature take, of course, as ever, on what's opening this weekend with our movie previews. New this week is a superhero movie with a title that sounds like your high school's senior class poem, X-Men Days of Future Past. And if you're offended by Bryan Singer's allegation that he molested a 17-year-old, well, Blended is out there.
Look at that. Africa. Sun, sand, safaris.
My boys would give anything to go on a vacation like this.
No more dating for me. It's time and money I should be spending with my kids. Time for spring break. You gonna leave me hanging? Boom.
Did he just punchline something with boom?
Boom.
All
All right, back when I was a kid, I never thought about going to Africa. I thought the greatest thing ever would be to go to somewhere that had like hot dogs and roller coasters.
As an adult, I don't think about going to Africa.
Right? The kids would love to go to Africa.
No,
As an
there's-
adult, I consciously avoid Africa.
Right? Even when I see stuff on the news about it, I keep flipping and I'm looking for hot dogs and a roller coaster.
They're constantly killing somebody somewhere in Africa. If it's not Sierra Leone, they moved it to Congo. If it's not in Congo, they moved to South Africa. Boom, boom,
kids
Somalia,
love it
blah, blah,
there.
blah, Sudan. Yeah.
Blended is topical. They just sent 80 Marines to Africa, right?
Yes,
there
they
we go.
did.
For
To
kids.
help,
For
to
kids.
help the little
For
girls.
kids, yes.
What is wrong? Okay. Kids can't wait to go to
When
Africa.
they said bring back our kids, they weren't talking about
Well, she did say
Sandler
my boys
Barrymore.
can't wait to go there, not my
Yeah.
daughter. So
Hey, quick update for Rotoflix, the online fantasy movie game we're playing. Lee,
Did I completely screw the pooch on that one?
what? Did you not start Godzilla?
I don't think I
didn't.
didn't.
How
he
do you
didn't
not start
Godzilla.
During
like
its
not-
opening weekend?
It's like not starting Tom Brady.
I thought I had him. I thought I had Godzilla in the lineup,
yeah.
and then you keep getting these emails that says you got 3 hours, you got 2 hours, and you're sweating it out. But I got it at work, and then I got home and I completely
Hey,
spaced on doing
Fantasy League
Good.
movies.
it. Yeah.
yes, yeah. But I have
start-
to go
you start-
check because I think I blended and that opens this week. So.
I
I have blended.
this many
Oh,
points.
what do I have?
Well, I beat you with the
0?
director of Godzilla, who gets half the points the film does. So anyway, if you want to argue with your friends like this,
But I can,
rotoflix.com, Flix.
but I can move them into it now, right?
Yes, for the second weekend.
And, and if anyone gets injured, you can take them out and put somebody else in.
If Godzilla pulls a hammy,
Yes.
I got Bryan Singer. I slip
Right now,
in there.
Karen started Legends of Oz, Dorothy's Return, and has more points than you.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I don't even know why that movie
I
got
also
any
want to
points.
talk TV for a second, although we're the
No.
movie guys.
Please
And just
do.
mention you should be watching 24 because they're back, and that show is really good.
Oh, and you should be watching The Mindy Project because Ike Barinholtz, who was on, who at the time I was like, oh, he's nice. He's so funny. He's so funny. I can't
is hilarious
deal
on that show.
with him on that show.
Yeah.
And I think
He's great. He's the Herb Tarlick of the Mindy Project.
But he's the only one that has any heart, and he's the only one that's purely a good person. The rest of them are sort of selfish, and he'll just run in and think of others and then do stupid things because he's so busy helping them. There goes a plane.
Selfish
Yeah.
characters made for a great
Sure.
show. I mean, Cheers is my favorite show of all time, and those guys are
funny.
just
I don't know if I ever recognized them as selfish as much as Seinfeld.
Shallow.
Yeah, shallow, and they just never really, never. I love they never really let the moment get too heavy, so I didn't notice that to be shallow.
Right.
But I think there was a moment where Ogre from the Nerds,
That's the best
right,
episode.
where he comes in and gives that speech about being picked on.
He's hired as a
bouncer,
for Cheers.
And they end up making fun of him, and then he turns out to be the gentle giant with feelings, and
Oh, that's Ike.
and he has this real sad speech that he gives to them, and they all feel really guilty for a moment, and then he leaves, and as soon as the door closes, they all start laughing
They all
about
start
him. They all start snickering about him.
Yeah,
that's what I liked about Cheers, is it never quite turned the corner into a very
was never
special,
sentimental.
never
Never,
special
no.
Cheers, very special Cheers.
But another reason to watch 24, I'm going to get the wrong name. John Boyega is in that show right now. And he's in the new Star Wars movies. So if you want to get a little taste of the guy who's going to be in the next Star Wars film, I don't know in what capacity, but in this he's a guy who's accused now of drone attacking our
Droning.
own people.
Droning on and
It'll
on.
be a verb soon enough, for the love of God. He's droning. Yeah.
We all been there.
Those kids are droning again.
John Boyega.
Oh, wait a second.
Uh-oh.
And time. It's been exactly 301 days since the last X-Men movie. There
And
you
none
go.
too soon, if you ask Adam.
Outstanding. Then let's do it. Adam, you'd be the perfect candidate to talk about X-Men Days of Future Past. Let's do it. Here we go. And that's the Moody Blues with Tuesday Afternoon from their album Days of Future Past.
Oh my God.
You're listening to Wrenching It In Network. All right, screw it. Let's get
Oh my God. If I were
let's get
driving
excited.
and I heard that.
Please enjoy your romance novel over
Yeah.
lunch.
All right.
Get ready to pick the person you go to this next movie with carefully, because it's a superhero movie based on one of the most beloved storylines in comic history.
Do not go within 100 feet of any friend who attended Comic-Con during the opening weekend of X-Men Days of Future Past. This is like 300 Rise of the Empire, because a prequel and a sequel is basically what this is, what they're calling a freaky dequel.
Oh.
Do they fight an epic battle, Adam?
Well, it's an X-Men movie, isn't it?
Well, there you go. Days of Future Past is the superhero movie with a title that could win a French film festival. In fact, the Sundance 5 on Sunset just accidentally booked this for a week because they thought it was the one about the dyslexic with amnesia.
Days of Future Past starts in the year 2023, where robots called Sentinels have wiped out more mutants than Brett Ratner's X-Men 3 scriptwriter. With all hope lost, older Charles Xavier and Magneto, played by Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen, resort to time travel, sending the one and only Wolverine's consciousness back in time to kill Sarah Connor and make Mystique and Magneto kiss at the Under the Sea dance.
I already have questions.
So, Wolverine, the man made of adamantium, goes back in time not to stop the Vietnam War, not to stop the oil crisis,
No.
not to stop Casey and the Sunshine Band from forming, but to stop a mutant genocide. Selfish much?
Bryan Singer returns to the franchise he launched to direct his first X-Men movie since his last good film. How did Bryan Singer spend the intervening years? Well, according to official court documents, he was very, very busy, as two men have come out and accused Singer of sexual abuse while they were underage.
Based on Hollywood's past history, Singer will soon be run out of town with torches and pitchforks. Or given a special Oscar, depending on box office returns.
Unlike the carefully planned The Avengers, it's the unique kismet of 2011's reboot X-Men First Class that allows Days of Future Past to tell a complex superhero story requiring distinct past and present casts.
Now, with comic book movies in full bloom, it's as hard to remember a time when an X-Men film was a gamble as it is to remember Robert Downey Jr. being on SNL. But for X-Men, the unknown talents of 1999 and 2011 have grown very expensive, causing the budget of X-Men 7, we'll call it, to skyrocket to a reported $250 million, giving it a steep climb to profit.
But this film will get you caught up on new X-Men. According to IMDb character list, they include Surveillance Guard number 1 and Surveillance Guard number 2, French TV reporter, Blue Suit Traveler, Airport Backpacker, and of course, President Nixon.
Actually, I think Nixon plays one of the supervillains.
You sure about that?
No, but it would make sense, I would think.
If this is a hit, in the next film, characters from the X-Men First Class go back in time to visit even younger versions of themselves. Now, there's a movie I'd like to see. X-Men Babies. Ooh, perhaps.
Patent pending. Patent pending. All right,
I said it
Just like
third.
Muppet Babies.
That's X-Men Days of Future Past.
X-Men Babies. Da, 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 da,
Get excited.
da.
Singer's career could follow my Michael Jackson theory, which I think I've shared with you here before with
Yes.
Woody Allen. Well, Michael Jackson's music was good. He was like the king of pop.
Yeah.
When it got bad, he was a child molester. So
There's a direct
the
correlation.
movies have to stay good for Bryan Singer. So we're
Gotta stay
hoping
profitable.
this movie has to be good for him and for, of course, fans as
But
well.
he kind of he hates making movies profitable. Like, certainly there was less money you could have spent on Superman Returns because it was still a gamble, but that was like a $200+ million movie. And part of the reason that he didn't get a sequel is it just wasn't profitable enough, even though it made plenty of money.
Mm-hmm.
But here he is. Now, of course, this cast, though, it's a ridiculous cast.
Yeah.
This is the most insane cast
yeah.
put together for such a venture.
No, when I was at Comic-Con, when they all came out, they flew in from wherever the hell they were shooting, and they all came out on stage, and everyone was just like, they exploded. Crotches exploded all over Hall H.
I thought whenever I first saw Entertainment Weekly and I saw that Jennifer Lawrence was playing the Blue Lady, and she's just young and hot, I didn't know that there was a time travel element. I thought it was just Hollywood element of we want the hottest, newest
right.
chick.
Get out of here, Romaine.
It didn't seem like it really had to make any sense. They would just say, look, we want Romaine to take a hike.
Is she still hot, Rebecca
Yes!
Romaine Stamos? I haven't seen her in forever. What do I know?
Yes!
John is getting a little weathered though.
You guys,
Is he? No.
Have you seen his Oikos commercials? He's a
Well, the world is over then if that happens. That's like the end of the world. Stamos
he's-
loses his looks?
He's still hot, too.
he's still a good looking guy, but
Okay.
he's just he's not going
He's
gracefully
not
into
in
that
blue
good night.
spandex either, so he'll be all right.
Fingers crossed. She's not in spandex though; it's paint, right? It's body paint.
I hope so.
Even
Yeah, that's
more of a reason.
practically skin.
Because I've been
Yeah.
slowing down the trailer while she does her leg spinny thing.
Yeah.
To see what's going on there.
You're
Shut
slowing down
up.
the Carl's Jr.'s ads.
Ridiculous.
Well, that was stupid, wasn't it? The Quicksilver reveal, I don't know what they call him, Peter Maximoff. They can't
Yeah.
call him Quicksilver because Quicksilver's in the Avengers, even though the character was in both in the comics.
Wait, so the characters are both, but they're not going to call him Quicksilver? in one
Yeah,
of them?
he's Peter
Oh, my goodness.
Maximoff, his alter ego in this one, and he's Quicksilver in the Avengers.
Oh, wow.
But maybe Peter Maximoff as well. I don't know.
I'm not the only one
Because
doing that. Though,
Peter
yeah.
Maximoff's going to sweep the nation.
She might have on a thong. I
This
doubt
is-
she's going to
this
go
is-
full.
This is all I'm
cleavage.
trying to determine.
No.
I just want to know, what's in store for me.
Really nail it with the cast, though. Even the X-Men First Class casts all got super famous in just a couple years. I mean, Hunger Games and then all those various projects where
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. Yes,
Yeah,
Warm Bodies.
right.
Beast was in Warm Bodies.
And that McAvoy film?
And the one where he goes
Filth?
nuts and the other one where he's angry. Yes,
Yeah.
those are great.
Well,
The Danny
still-
Boyle one's actually really kind of amazing. I got the free screener of that. If anybody has a chance to
is
see
that
that, if
good?
that's like
What
a
is that
Netflix
called?
or whatever.
all that comes to
I
mind is
cannot
filth,
remember.
but that's the next filthy.
It's another
variant.
one-word
Yeah.
title. Trance.
Trance.
Cool
Thank
movie.
you.
I mean, Danny
Thank you, Grader.
Boyle is like,
He's out of his mind.
he's amazing.
Yeah.
Out of control.
This one still hasn't won me over, which is weird because I
Days
don't
of
know
Future Past?
any of the X-Men stuff. The
Oh,
only
no?
thing I like about it is the fact that the dude who plays Wolverine is a great song and dance man. That's what I take away from it.
Karen goes to all
That's
the
it.
X-Men movies hoping
They
that
haven't
He
combined
breaks
that
out in a
yet.
song.
there's a
Yeah.
scene where Wolverine tap dances his way to
Who
justice.
wouldn't like to see that? See? People would love it.
Yeah, he's back for the 7th time playing Wolverine, and that means it's time to fire up another round of... The Doug Ray Scott Suicide Watch.
Is that the guy who didn't take the part?
Why do we need to fire that up, Adam?
Well, a lot of people don't know that Doug Ray Scott, an actor you don't know,
and here's why.
Bad.
was 2 weeks away from playing. He was cast as Wolverine. It was a done deal. That man was walking to the set of X-Men as Wolverine. And then they got a little behind production on Mission Impossible 2. And he had to spend 2 extra weeks, just 2 weeks. X-Men was going to shoot for a long time. But those 2 weeks made it critical that they cast another actor right away, and that was...
Curly from Oklahoma.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's true. All true.
The George Lazenby
It was a
of
beautiful,
Wolverine.
beautiful morning
But the
for
Suicide
him.
Watch yields fruitful results for Doug Ray Scott.
Yeah,
he
how's
is
he
in
doing?
production on a couple of films right now.
Oh,
I did
great.
hear his name recently. Someone just mentioned it in...
So what you're saying, Paul, is he's still alive?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. He hasn't done himself in.
I know he's in production, but is he still with us?
He's on Strike Back. He's on Hemlock Grove, the Eli Roth
okay.
Netflix show. He's on The Wrong Mans, which you can watch on Hulu.
Oh, I heard
And
very
Jamie
good
probably
things.
has, right?
Have you seen the
No,
Wrong
I found a
Mans?
TV show you haven't watched.
It's on Hulu. It's not quite.
It's it's not TV. It's Hulu, and that's a negative thing.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, he was in My Week with Marilyn as well. So Doug Ray Scott. Still
Has
out
he
His
there.
done-
real name, Doug Ray. Maybe
Has,
Doug.
Has he done any Broadway?
Dougie Scott was a rapper, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Paul, has he performed
Has he
on
done?
Broadway?
That's a good question. We'll have to find
These are
that out.
things
I think they're all soap opera actors that they bring over from Australia.
Well, they're good looking.
Now, this is either the 4th, 5th, or 7th X-Men film, depending on how you're doing the math. There's so many X-Men movies named First, Last, or Origin that there's no explaining this movie to Grandpa Caius.
Grandpa Caius.
Wait, which one is this?
This is X-Men Days of Future Past.
And it's the sequel to what?
X-Men First Class.
First Class. So that's the first X-Men movie.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen the first X-Men. That's the one with Patrick Stewart.
No, that's X-Men.
First Class.
No, first movie.
X-Men 1?
No, just X-Men.
And that's the one where they tell the origin.
No, that's First Class.
Oh, I see. X-Men Origins First Class.
No, X-Men Origins is actually the 4th movie.
They waited 4 movies to tell the origin of X-Men?
No, 5 movies. They waited 4 movies to tell Wolverine's origin.
In Wolverine.
That's the 6th movie.
So what happens in P90X?
P90X, well, that's a sweaty, oddly exuberant Hulk yells at you.
So what was the last movie?
First Class.
Then what's The Last Stand?
The 3rd movie.
But this is the sequel to it?
Correct.
So this new X-Men movie, it takes place in the future?
And the past.
Unlike the first one,
4th one.
which took place in the past?
Correct. Just like this one, which is a sequel to the first one.
Which one?
I don't know.
First
Class.
Grandpa Caius.
I still have questions.
So which one has Mulder and Scully?
Yeah, sorry. Oh, yeah, I killed that last line.
That's all right. It's all confusing. No, I agree. What the fuck?
What the fuck, indeed? Go
Please.
to Wikipedia and read the plot.
No, I can't.
Your mind will melt. I do want to see it just to see how they figured this all out and if I could possibly follow it.
But it's an amazing thing that this movie can exist via the fact that they had rebooted and now they have 2 casts. You would never just make X-Men First Class in order to get to this one. They made that like as a legitimate movie to launch its own and then had this idea to bring the 2 casts together, 2 very expensive casts together.
But I think you got a lot of to live up to. I thought Matthew Vaughn kicked the shit out of that
He
First
killed
Class
it.
movie.
That was an awesome movie.
Yeah.
And it was totally in the tone of like James Bond. It had this James Bond feel about it, the villain and the submarine that goes out of the ship.
Yeah, everyone
and shit.
talks about everybody but Kevin Bacon in that movie,
He's
who's
so
fantastic in that movie. Oh, he's great. And you needed a big role like that for a while. I mean, now he's doing the TV show, of course. But in films, he was always the guy off to the side or whatever. This was a nice, big, meaty role, and he was great. Yeah, that should happen for him more often. I think.
Yeah, and with no crutches. That movie had no crutches except the word X-Men.
I'm going out on a limb here. Kevin Bacon should work more.
He's not in enough
know,
things.
There you go.
When
Yeah.
you said Kevin Bacon was that movie, I forgot that and I
Yeah.
immediately thought of him dancing. I just have a thing.
You really do.
Has
Yeah.
he ever been on Broadway?
Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Footloose.
Footloose doesn't
Well,
need to be on Broadway.
okay,
He was in
yeah.
Footloose.
the original If You Could Win.
There you go. Shut up.
On the play?
Yeah.
He was in the play? Oh.
Oh,
Did
your
he do
favorite
any
thing
songs?
ever.
Was he Smiling Jack Ross in the play too?
He might have tap danced across.
Oh, that's right. We've touched on Lee's favorite movie of all time.
Right?
Oh, wait. Hang on a second.
Uh-oh.
And time. It's been exactly 314 days since the last Adam Sandler movie.
And way too soon if you ask me.
Karen, let's talk about Blended. Here we go. Yes, Adam Sandler has seen his shadow, so it's time for more hijinks.
Finally, Hollywood has the balls to have two characters go on a luxurious vacation in Blended, the latest movie to make Thomas Edison throw up in his grave and also roll over in his grave over the misuse of the invention of cinema.
There you go. That's Thomas Edison.
That's almost as whisper quiet as our fart drop.
In Blended, a film repurposing a perfectly good title for a documentary about the Colombian coffee trade, Drew Barrymore looks for love, while Adam Sandler looks for a way to get a movie studio-financed trip to Africa.
I really think that's what he did. Brilliant.
Clearly.
He and Drew got together and were like, we want to go to Africa. Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore have so many crazy coincidences, you'd think this movie should be called Not You Again.
Now, in the trailer we watched on IMDb, we didn't see anyone get hit in the nuts, so are you sure this is an Adam Sandler movie?
Here's the story.
It's the Sandler Bunch. After a failed first date at Hooters, home of all failed first dates, two single parents decide to get together and have one big group of awful kids.
But coincidence, the movie, really gets going when the writer of the movie actually gives up, and both couples just happen to win a trip to Africa.
Don't people go on vacation to get away from their kids?
What kid wouldn't want to spend spring break with their parents in an oppressively hot, socially and economically depressed part of the world with a population that is riddled with AIDS?
Daytona?
No, I said Africa.
Oh.
I've contracted AIDS.
How did you get that?
From an African prostitute. The prostitutes from an African country that's ravaged by starvation. So selling her body was the only financial recourse she had left.
So funny.
What are the chances that they'd end up staying in the same hotel, on the same safari, and in the same Africa?
It's a movie, isn't it?
Then Adam Sandler rides an ostrich, Drew Barrymore parasails, the kids set everything on fire, and once again all fire extinguishers in movies shoot whipped cream. Apparently the hot fudge extinguishers aren't up to code.
It's enough excitement to have all the writers of the movie declaring it's finished.
But the writer's not only the only one phoning it in. The whole movie sounds like it needs a nap. Adam Sandler looks exhausted. He's not so much acting as responding.
We're out of gas! Start running fast!
It's
It
nice.
may have been slowed down a little.
A little bit. It's nice to
But
see
still.
that Adam Sandler is starring alongside Drew Barrymore instead of a fetus. But if you're going to go through the trouble of casting an aging Drew Barrymore, they could have at least lit her properly. This whole movie looks like it's lit with gas station fluorescents.
The film also stars Terry Crews, who not surprisingly appears without his shirt on.
Oh, thank God.
And Kevin Nealon, who thankfully remains fully clothed.
Oh,
And
thank
there
God.
you go. That's the movie, everybody. That's Blended. Wait, what the heck is my... What the,
We'll pretend we're excited. I was driving,
What else do we watch?
and I was talking about something else.
Da, da.
I was stuck in traffic, so I was having plenty of time to look at the billboards for Blended. And the one thing I noticed is I feel that these are, attractive people. It's not like they're awful looking. I just feel like their makeup wasn't blended and the lighting isn't doing them any favors.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
It's
seem
a really
like...
lazy looking movie, except for the fact that they get themselves all the way to Africa.
Yeah,
I mean, I
maybe
guess
that's it. They
Crew did
couldn't
go there.
afford to have good lights and makeup because they got to Africa. But
it's like the
it's
Hooters
a weird...
is a set.
Well,
Like, there's
it
lights
loo-
above them.
it's
I don't know why she looks terrible.
I don't understand it.
It looks
She's
like they
very
got
cute.
to Africa but forgot to get the shots.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever immunizations you needed to get to Africa, they forgot them.
They're
It's like,
all
oh,
sick.
crap.
Malaria-riddled romance.
And it makes me sad because I don't feel like there's enough of these kind of movies made anymore, like romantic comedies. And then when they do make one, they don't even make the good one. It's not Love Actually. It's like the crappy one that no one went to.
And I honestly don't get the title.
I don't know.
Don't
Well,
get it.
Blend the families,
Wait,
I guess.
hold on a second. Clearly, a blended family is like a black and white family,
Oh, they're all
right?
white.
What, no
Yeah.
good?
Okay,
Mulatto?
so clearly this script in which they go to Africa had some
There's something
Originally
missing.
was one of these characters supposed to be black? I
Oh my
wonder.
God, one of them should have been Terry Crews.
Or a mulatto?
Anything would have
No
made
good?
more
Yeah,
sense.
In 1980.
Who are you?
Are you knowing that
Grandpa.
drop?
Hi, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Mulatto, no good?
No, shut up. You can't say that anymore.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
You know, Sandler,
yeah.
but he normally has film titles you can shout, like, just go with it, right? Or once he can say, like,
Skittles from
that's
heaven.
my boy. Yeah.
From heaven. That was TV Rewind, or what was it? Fast forward.
Bedtime stories. Or clip, TV Rewind. Yeah. You don't mess with this old head. Like, yeah, but this one, he's not going to yell blended. Yeah, he's not going to yell blended. And I, for one, am disappointed.
I'm sad about that, too.
You know, I often wonder if Sandler would like to try something completely new, not just a James L. Brooks or Paul Thomas Anderson movie like he's done in the past, but like just get fully away from all this and do an outer space adventure or a Victorian era romance.
Like Cool Breeze Reeves does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
right?
Yeah. Although more
Sorta.
successfully would be the goal.
He could do it. He's
we
a good
mentioned that this
actor.
does look like a well-trod romantic comedy, but
But it's not a good romantic comedy. It makes me sad.
but listen to these clips. They'll show you just how tired I think the actors are in the scene.
Okay, you're gonna call me in 10 minutes so that I can tell him I have an emergency.
Hello? An avalanche in our backyard. I'll be home right away. It's an emergency.
You hear that? That sounds a little. Wait, I see. Both of them are.
Got you buffalo shrimp with a sauce on the side.
Look, who makes sauce this hot?
You know, they could have just remade The Wedding Singer and I would have been happier.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Love The
time for
Wedding
a reboot.
Singer.
I don't know.
It's time for a reboot of that.
Yeah, but if you reboot, what do you set it in the 90s?
Yeah, and you just have him singing to like
Singing to some-
rap rock and shit.
Or else have him doing some grunge.
Limp
something.
Bizkit?
Now, I know I've brought this up with Tyler Perry movie, and not everyone agreed with me with the heavy-handedness of General Motors and Chevy in
the
Alex
placement?
Cross.
Yeah.
But the Hooters and the Dick's Sporting Goods. This is a
good
Dick's
point.
Sporting Goods brought
Big
to you
old
by...
shot of that before they walk
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, brought to you by Hooters
So-
in conjunction with Dick's Sporting
They
Goods
paid
Productions.
for the trip to Africa
They paid-
for Sandler's family.
Because really, do the math. What's a trip to Africa cost for a family of four? $40,000, $50,000 to produce a movie that's going to gross $300 million?
Yeah.
Sure, I think that will do that.
And it will.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's going
Joke's
against
on everybody.
X-Men, so people like me would go to the theater and say, oh, okay, Drew Barrymore or the guy with the things on his hands. I'd probably go to Blended.
The guy with his fingers.
I would go to Edward Scissorhands before both of these movies.
Who has
By
the
the
things
way,
on his
I didn't get to talk
The
about
Wolverine guy.
Wolverine.
See, you even don't know.
I didn't know.
But I
Dog
would like
guy.
to say,
Yeah.
Wolverine's Hugh Jackman has played the same character 7 times, but Adam Sandler's beaten that, right? I mean, he's played the same character. I mean, I didn't have time to count,
for every movie.
but I'm right.
Except for the Punch Drunk Love. He was a different character in Punch Drunk Love.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, well,
the
that's
one he did with an auteur.
that's what's new in theaters. Now, opening next week and out now on video on demand is The Big Ask. And we will be back with the writer and co-director Thomas Beatty and star David Krumholtz right after this 10 seconds of music.
What is the big ask you ask? Coming up.
Yeah, that's a good tease.
Right?
It's like a radio guy tease.
You hit the post.
Take us out.
Now you that's right. This cut goes out to
What do you mean, take us out?
Lay down the beat.
One love, yo.
Oh, that's all right.
Wouldn't want to.
Don't want to.
And we are back.
Embarrass anyone.
Back with our guest segment, everybody. Loaded up with two folks we're anxious to talk to. The writer, director, and producer of The Big Ask, Thomas Beatty.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hello. And one of the film stars, seen in lots of different things. We can mention the TV shows Numbers and Newsroom. We're big fans of Newsroom.
Oh, yes.
And films like Serenity and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. David Krumholtz.
Awesome. Thank you.
Before we get to chatting too much, let me explain about the film a little bit. The Big Ask is on video on demand right now, which means iTunes. And I saw it on there. Where
Everywhere.
else? Is it really on like Hulu? And,
It's on your TV.
Beautiful.
Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's on Hulu. It's on iTunes. It's on Time Warner. It's around.
Good.
Time Warner has their own thing?
Yeah.
Man, I'm learning stuff.
So what you're
every day.
saying is it's gone viral? Is that what they call it?
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And can I say it's called The Big Ask?
Yes.
A lot of people think it's called The Big Ass.
Yes. I tried to make a point.
Well, because like that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
No one would ever hear
Krumholtz.
The Big Ask. They're calling it The Big Ass now. Big Ask.
But we saw this film. Oh, and I want to mention also co-stars Jillian Jacobs, Jason Ritter, Zachary Knight, and Melanie Linsky, who I've got a thing for.
Excellent.
And it plays in limited release in theaters here in L.A. Anywhere else? Or will it play in New York as well?
As of now, LA.
L.A. Cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Starting May 30th.
So it's in one theater?
What do you want? I'm
it the
working on it.
It says in theaters, plural. And
Yeah,
I'm finding out
they're
it's
gonna
in one
move it
theater?
from one
Home
theater to the other
theaters as
theater.
well.
Oh, my God.
This is what I like on the set. Just
Every day.
Yeah. But now Phoenix Film Fest was where we first heard of this film because we called it Teddy Bears, as the world did. It changed now, obviously, in a shift to getting its release. What happened there, and why would it be called Teddy Bears in the first place?
Well, it was called Teddy Bears because we shot it out in Joshua Tree in the middle of the desert, and there's a cactus out there that looks very kind of sweet and cuddly, and I know from personal experience, if you sit on it, literally destroys your life. And it's called the teddy bear cactus. So
destroys your life.
Yeah.
Ah, nice.
It takes a long time to get the cactus out of your ass. Yeah.
And that's how you get the big ass? Is that how?
Yeah. Oh, damn it! I walked right into that.
Wait, let me play a little clip here to tell you what the movie's about.
There is a reason I asked you all to come.
To a vacation. To not dying of cancer.
There's no one else dying of cancer.
Here.
What I really want is to have sex with everyone here.
Oh, man.
It's not a joke.
And that's where we're left. Now, and that's David in the lead asking this of his friends, and it's because your mother had just died of cancer?
Yeah, my character's mother has just died of a long battle with cancer, and I've basically fallen apart as a result of this, and I invite my friends out to the desert for my birthday, and these are the friends that were there for me through the whole thing, and I tell them that what I want for my birthday more than anything else is an expression of free love to heal me, and so I asked to have sex with them, and they think, oh, you mean all of us? Guys too? And I'm like, oh no, just your girlfriends. And my girlfriend who's there.
That was the question I had.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So obviously they react like, what the F, that's not going to happen anytime ever. And I don't drop it. And they're out there with me for the weekend, and my buddies are like, "You're just horny. It's gross. Just say you're horny." And the movie actually becomes kind of it has some sort of emotionally dramatic undertones as well. Like it becomes about this guy really genuinely trying to heal himself, and really sort of feeling like this is the only way it's possible. And then his friends go from being disgusted and pissed off at him to being really concerned about him, because they realize he kind of has lost his mind, and that's sort of what the film. And then everyone's lives either come together or unravel under the pressure of this polarizing question over the course of the weekend. Boom!
Boom!
Nice.
Boom! Damn!
Plot synopsis.
Oh,
the
The
plot
desert
bot.
becomes a crucible, right?
That was amazing.
We didn't even need Thomas here, man.
Now I understand the big ask.
Yeah.
Yes,
there you
it's
go.
quite
The
a
big
question.
ask.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You haven't done. You've been making the rounds, telling
I've been
that
doing
story,
interviews,
telling
yeah.
the plot.
So, yeah. The first one I did was it the movie Bob because sex to have friends with sex baby.
Big ass.
That was the first thing. It's gotten a lot better since then. Big ass. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a kind of classic indie. You got your limited location, you got your desert and a cabin or something like that, and you got your limited time frame, right? So that's like what you put on yourself when you write the script, right? You're like, all right, it doesn't take place over too long amount of time, and it doesn't take place in too many locations.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and I set out, I was like, I want to make a movie. Because I've been kind of floating around in the studio comedy drain for like 5 or 6 years, not having anything get made. And I was like, we're going to make a movie. It's a house that I actually go to with my friends every summer. I was out there, and I was like, I'm going to write a movie. I'm going to make it right here.
Yeah. Guitar and a turtle. That's what Rodriguez says, right? If you got a guitar and a turtle, you can make a movie. Yeah.
Whenever I went to the Phoenix Film Festival, one thing I noticed is that, of course, a lot of the films don't have the big budget like you would if you were making one of these big blockbusters, and so you can't make things blow up. So to make the to heighten the drama, they have everyone sleep around with each other, and so that's another way to have some sort of.
I think what Karen is asking is, when are you casting your next one?
I just need to know who to sleep with.
You want to hear I'll tell you a really creepy story. I worked with a stuntman once, and I was working with him, and over the weekend, I went while I'm filming this thing, my girlfriend and I went to a Rennie fair.
Oh, God.
And
So sorry.
I saw the stuntman, and he was dressed up as a court jester, and he was juggling. And I was like, hey, weird. I just saw you yesterday at work. And he was like, yeah. Hey, you know what this is, right? And I was like, no. He's like, after everyone leaves, after it closes down to the public, it's one giant orgy.
What?
And he was dead serious. So Rennie Fairs, you'll notice there are beds everywhere. It's an orgy, folks.
Oh, because that's why a lot of people went into theater in college was to get laid, right? So you do the play and then everybody fucks each other.
And that's why all these sort of bigger women are wearing these really...
in their titties.
But it's still the same people that went to the Ren Fair, right?
And they still haven't showered.
Okay, so they're not bringing in a fresh crop of people to have sex with.
No, it's still the people who work.
You get what you're dealt there.
All right.
They don't have accurate smell.
And for full disclosure, because I feel we're very close to you now, Paul and I, we did some Ren Fair work right out of college.
You mean Ren Fair work?
Ren Fair work.
This never happened.
But
No,
this
that
never happened. I think it's because our Ren Fair was actually like a theatrical troupe. We had to audition for it, for one. You had to actually get in. We were paid, so we didn't have to be mudbaggers and ask for money. We did full-length Shakespeare plays. So we never got to sleep with each other.
Yeah, so we were either in the
fucked up.
So we were either in the right company or the whole wrong company. Yeah.
We were all proud of ourselves for being legitimate company, and now I think that might have been a mistake.
Yeah, I think the audition for the Ren Fair he's talking about is a little different.
Yeah. So they weren't doing Shakespeare. They didn't do Taming of the Shrew.
Oh, I should mention before we let Phoenix Film Fest go, because we were there. If you've been following the Showcast here, we've been telling stories about when we were at the fest. You won Best Ensemble there.
Yes.
Cool.
David won Best Ensemble.
I won it for the
sorry.
rest of
Yes,
everyone.
Thomas didn't.
That's great.
No, Thomas had nothing to do with my performance.
Did you all thank him properly? Oh, you weren't there. You weren't.
I wasn't there. No,
That's right.
No,
you were not there.
I just took him out to dinner just now.
Yeah.
So
Very kind.
Yeah.
Did you have fun going on the festival circuit? How many festivals did you go to?
The movie went to, I want to say 12 or 13, but I only got to 3 of them, sadly.
Yeah.
That said, they were all awesome.
Yeah.
I think I got the best ones.
Yeah.
So.
We went to Seattle.
I saw that
Yeah.
on the list.
It premiered at Seattle. We all had a great time there. I went to a festival called Waterfront, which is actually where I met Paul Osborne, who's a mutual friend, filmmaker of all of us.
Friend of the show.
And it was, from what I hear, the only sort of, how do you say? It's a bigger party than Phoenix.
That's
No kidding.
possible.
It is a festival that has their own ice luge with the festival logo on it. And when you get there, they say you have to take a shot on the luge. And you're like, what, is this a joke? I'm at a film festival? No, it's not a joke.
God, that's impressive.
Phoenix was quite a party. That is impressive, dude. That's nice. All right.
Now, David, you were on Freaks and Geeks, correct?
I did an episode, yeah.
Did an episode?
Sure. Oh, sure.
So is that where you met guys like that you've kind of been in the loop of since?
Wait a minute.
Seth,
You
Rogen,
heard
and all that?
luge, and then you immediately went to Freaks and Geeks.
Well,
I'm just putting that
he
together.
He has an agenda.
I'm like, where is this going?
It's all right.
Let me
Whoever
wrap
hasn't
it
seen
all
the
up.
luge episode.
Let me wrap this all up. I'll get there quicker if you don't want to sit around for how I'm going to work this all together. But there's been loops of people I think you've kind of been in. You've been in like a Whedonverse, one might call it, little Joss Whedon, a little bit, and then this like Apatow universe.
Yeah.
And so, Thomas, starting to make your films. Do you want to create a universe of movies now with all these characters that kind of come together
with like the same actors?
With like the same actors.
Well, actually,
4 people.
Let me tell you something, and this is not just because of how close David is to me right now. I would like to do some ensemble like same people again. I think that's an awesome way.
Apparently, you were awarded for it because you have a good eye at putting people together.
I have a great eye, and people
use that eye to
recognize
look
that.
around.
That's really
Look around.
But there is something to be said for the fact that your movie won for ensemble. We are all Second City type people, and the one thing that was very cool is they have all these awards, the Jeff Awards in Chicago. And which actor won for Best Actor in an Ensemble?
Dave Pasquesi.
And he said the greatest thing. He said he must be doing something wrong to be the best actor in an ensemble. I thought that was freaking fierce.
They had an award
That's
for
improv.
Best Actor within an ensemble?
Yeah, I think from an ensemble cast.
Yeah,
like because
what?
they wanted to reward people in like a Second City cast, and that's like 7 people who do a show.
That's not the point.
It's not like you have the lead. It's not like you're Hamlet. So
I bet things were really awkward.
it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. Oh, it's weird.
They called it the Eye and Team Award.
And I should mention, you co-directed this film. Correct?
I did with my wife.
There you go.
And we're still married.
Good for you. Shut up. All right.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
But
she must be very cool.
she is very cool, and I was a little nervous because I wrote
really
it
hot
first.
too. Like,
Do you have a big ask you would like to put to Thomas?
And on that, no. Yeah, I was a little nervous when I gave her. I wrote it as a short first, and it was about a guy asking all of his friends' girlfriends to give him a blowjob. And I wrote it, and I immediately finished it because I had the thought. I was lying one day, and I was like, everything is terrible. I just wish this would happen. And I was like, dang, movie. And I wrote it, and I gave it to my wife first immediately. Did I save it before? And I don't know. And that could have not gone well. But luckily,
it could have not.
Yeah,
you could have made a story about that.
Right, exactly.
That could have been a play right there.
David starts writing.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute. I handed it to her, and she looked at it, and she read it, she loved it, and she's like, I think it's a feature. And then, boom, off to the races.
She's very cool.
There's
she
your
is very
wife.
cool.
Yeah. But you have one credit, I noticed on IMDb, as an actor, Thomas.
Oh, boy.
Where'd you get your guinea pig? Happens to be the best damn candidate out of 600 volunteers.
A secret experiment gave one man the strength of 100.
Is he really?
The rest of the world, he's just codenamed Captain America.
And the power to save millions.
The Jerry's have an experimental rocket ready to fire at a target somewhere in the United States.
Only he could defeat a superhuman madman.
His dad's
A fella called the Red Skull.
Yes, 1993.
Oh,
Matt
wow.
Salinger, Captain
Oh,
America.
guys.
So you're the kid that takes the picture?
I'm his friend.
Oh, you're his friend.
The kid takes
Oh,
the
yeah,
picture,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
his friend is like the little chubby guy in glasses being like, well, do you know which hero it was?
That's awesome.
Did you have your Captain Midnight lucky decoder? That's my big line in it. Yeah.
1990 Captain America.
1993.
Yeah.
Matt Salinger,
Yeah.
J.D.
Yeah.
Salinger's
Yeah,
son.
J.D. Salinger's son, exactly. The best part about the movie is that fact.
Yeah.
Sorry to the movie.
Hey, it was the Captain America movie we had for a long time.
Right.
Like, as a superhero fan, that is what I had to watch. And
Yeah,
once upon
yeah.
a time. That's all you
And it
had.
was-
That's all
it
the
was
Captain
rough.
America you had.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
my dad is in the
And your dad
movie,
is in
and
it.
the director
And Ronnie
asked him,
Cox.
he's like, oh, we need a little kid to play you. And my dad was like, I have a son who is 8.
Who does your dad play in that?
My dad plays, Ronnie Cox is the president, and my dad plays the journalist, and they're going after trying to find Captain America.
Wow.
And my dad got these, he took me out when he decided we were going to do the movie, and he's like, we're going to get matching glasses. Cute. And I was like, okay. So we both got horn-rimmed glasses and put a pencil in the side of them. And the director told me on set.
Albert Pune?
Why do I know? Wow. Sorry, I'm going to blow it out, but man.
He didn't want to name drop.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do the name drop, so I had to.
Adam's dropping.
I don't want to name drop it, Albert Pune.
A guy who directs like English is not his first language.
So he said to my dad, he's like, your son's scene is the best scene in the movie. And for like a year, I was like, yeah, I'm taking over this world. And then I saw the movie, and I was like, well, that's saying nothing.
That's saying nothing.
About
Albert Pune
the
told me
scene.
that.
Yeah.
For those listening and watching, your father's Ned Beatty.
Yes.
The great Ned Beatty.
He is an actor as well.
Do you have a favorite film of his? What's your favorite film that he's been in?
Oh, man, that is like an impossible question. I would have to go. Actually, I'm going to go with Nashville. There's a scene in Nashville that is, I think it's Lily Tomlin's in the next room, and my dad is making eggs. He doesn't say a word. He's just standing in the kitchen, and he makes a scrambled egg, and it's my favorite scene he's ever done.
We have a term here on the show called movie jail. If you haven't seen blank movie, you're in movie jail.
Right.
I have not seen Nashville.
Oh,
That might be-
wow.
is that
I'm
movie
going to
jail?
say that's a movie jail
Yeah,
movie.
That is a movie
More
jail
so than
movie.
A Christmas Story. Those are probably my two biggest.
Wow, you haven't seen a Christmas
Those,
Story? It's
pretty
on
big
every
that's
one.
like,
like
that's like,
marathon.
Well, we all have
movie
one before you start.
Guantanamo. That's bad, yeah.
Wow.
Thomas, your father has an amazing career, and he's a great actor, and I'm just wondering, what's it like for you to watch him do his thing? Because I remember as a kid sitting in the living room watching my dad mow the lawn, just having no sense of awe. Because that's what my dad does. That's, your dad is an amazing actor.
I'm going to double up that question real quick because he's in your film.
He is in my film.
Oh.
Yeah, he is.
That's fantastic.
It's awesome. My dad's really good at something. And that's,
Oh, you should have seen the lawn. That was a good lawn. I'm just saying.
it's a weird thing to grow up around. I mean, he's he's an actor, so he's a totally crazy, like all actors are. Yeah. And like getting to watch, I don't know how to describe it. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's still, and working with him, I was terrified. For as scary as the movie was, and David Krumholtz is in the movie. Worked with him the first day, shit my pants a little bit beforehand, showed up. And then the day that we were shooting with my dad, I didn't sleep the night. I mean, we're working on
Not the first time that's happened. I've worked with Barry Levinson.
He couldn't take it. He could not take it. I know. Well, he's known. He's known. Yeah.
So much shit.
He couldn't stop shitting. He literally just couldn't stop. It's like, we're day 5 of shitting.
Oh my God.
You're still shitting?
Please
I
make it stop.
I can't stop shitting because I couldn't.
Oh, thank God that's a wrap on David Krumholtz.
Oh my God!
Finally. Take this diaper off.
Your movie could have been called The Big Shit.
Yeah, that next one.
The big shit.
Yeah.
How long have you two known each other? You have a rapport.
Just since the
teasing
movie.
rapport.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we got along. We became fast friends.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then enemies, and then friends again.
Yeah.
Well,
Sounds like
Amy's
you made a
just
film together.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah.
That's true.
There was only one moment where I yelled. There
Yeah.
was a yelling moment.
Yeah, there was a yelling moment.
It was like at 4 a.m.
To be fair, it was we went days to splits to nights, which is maybe the easiest way to do it, but it's also torture. And that's how you torture people, is to do that. And
we were doing a scene, and it was like, we got it, And then
Yeah.
it was like, let's do one more take, and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck that. Yeah. Everybody wants to fucking go home. Oh, wants to do one more fucking take. You got it. You said you got it. Yeah, but maybe we should. You just said move on.
Yeah.
Don't say move on.
And love is when you have all of that,
Yeah.
and you never show it to anyone. You just put it away. Your rant is just it's a beautiful
Oh, you
thing.
have it on
Yeah.
film?
Oh, yeah, I have it. Oh, yeah. Never shown it to anyone, but I have it for
Is it
me.
ugly?
Yeah.
Is it ugly?
I see we have VOD, we have theaters, and then the Blu-ray, and we'll
Yeah,
get to see that.
exactly.
That's lovely.
Just wait.
I don't curse you out specifically. I don't say, Thomas, motherfucker, come on.
No,
you
it's
You
just,
don't pull a Lily
it's just to the
Tomlin.
world. You're just like,
Why am I here in the middle
Have
of
you
the
seen
desert?
the greatest rant is the one with Lily Tomlin and that
Of course.
guy where
David
he
O. Russell.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he's so awesome because he's so pissed that he leaves and then comes in one of the doors of the set.
Door behind
He
her.
has to open the set to come back and keep screaming.
My favorite is the other clip when they're in the car.
Yes.
And
Dustin Hoffman.
And Dustin
Yeah,
Hoffman,
poor
she
Dustin.
tells him to shut the. She tells Dustin Hoffman, "Shut the fuck up." And then Naomi Watts is in the backseat behind her laughing, and she turns and you can shut the fuck up too. And you can hear Naomi Watts going, I'm sorry.
Poor Dustin's trying. He's like, maybe we could just
Just roll the camera. Let's go roll the fucking camera.
Use it. Just use it.
Wait, speaking of profanity on film, can you explain this, Thomas?
Hey, deer tick. Fuck deer tick.
Fuck deer tick.
Yeah, that's a scary voice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's good.
What does fuck deer tick mean?
So
This is a great. This is a cool indie. This is something I read about that makes for a cool indie film.
yeah, this
story.
is a real indie film story. So basically, you make a movie for very little money. I work during the day testing movie trailers, and I won't say the movie, but 2 weekends ago, I ran a test on TV spots for a movie, and the test cost more than our entire movie.
Oh wow.
Including the P&A and everything. So
Wow.
that's what you make little movies for. And we have this band, Deer Tick, that my wife and I really love, and we really wanted a song from them. And a good friend of ours, Andy Gowan, did the music supervision for the movie, and he does like How I Met Your Mother, and he knows these people. When he calls, they're like, oh, hey, it's this guy. And he was, kind enough to do the movie just as a friend. And he called up Deer Tick, and he was like, you guys are kind of well known. Would you do this for nothing? And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll do it. Here's the thing, though. You got to get someone famous to say fuck you to us and send us a video. And we were like, okay, sure. So I was with my dad in New York, and I was like, Dad, will you say fuck you, Deer Tick, to this band? And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that.
I got a few other things I want to say.
Deer tick. Fuck deer tick.
That is hilarious. That's amazing.
You went for it.
It's my new ringtone.
You have an incredibly cool family between your dad and your wife.
Yeah, they're
Very
very cool. Yeah.
You got what you needed. There you go.
And my mom, who's sorry.
Also cool.
Well,
apparently.
I'm very proud of this. My mom is a writer as well, and I've watched her write movies for years and have a lot of stuff like Get Close and Not Go. And for myself, I was like, okay, if my mom's still doing this, I'm still going to do it. And this year, she has her first movie that she wrote coming out in theaters, and it's
What's it called?
200,000 to 300,000 times bigger than our
What's
movie.
the movie called?
The movie is called Hector
Fuck
and the
Deer
Search for.
Tick.
Yeah, it's called Fuck Deer Tick. It's called Ang Lee Shits a Diaper. No, it's called Hector and the Search for Happiness. It stars a lot of big famous people.
Name them.
Oh God,
I believe you.
Come back to me. I'll remember.
Jamie's looking at that.
Gillian
look it up.
Jacobs.
This is
Yeah.
so cool.
By the way,
It's Gillian.
it's
Jacobs.
Gillian.
It's Gillian?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But it's not just you. It's a running
Everyone
joke
says
with us
Gillian.
that everyone says.
Hey, you know, I
that.
see it in the
Yeah.
community credits. I just
Yeah.
say what I
It'd
see.
be worse if you said Jillian Jacobs.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different thing.
He's right. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
Name
Rosamund
them.
Pike, Simon Pegg.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Simon Pegg is the lead. Rosamund
Simon
Pike.
Pegg.
Yeah.
Tony Collette.
No, Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And Peter Chelsom, who is my mom's writing partner, directed it, and he directed my dad in a movie called "Hear My Song" that is my second favorite movie of my dad's. To take it back there.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
one that you can't even get it on DVD, but it's Peter's first movie before he went on to do a bunch of big movies, and it's a beautiful movie. Find this movie, watch it.
This conversation just hit a lull. It's like, okay, we get it. No one gives a shit. After your wife's a good, no one. I mean, your mom's nice and all.
God,
Jesus
damn,
Christ.
you know
So
what?
tell us some inside poop
You're
on
gonna make her
Chris.
cry. You're gonna make her
Fucking
cry.
Jesus. How
Thomas,
long do you think
do
we
you have any amazing sisters?
No, I'm done. I'm done.
Tell us about your
It's
fifth
over.
cousin twice removed.
Oh God. Oh jeez.
Oh, well, let's move on to that. Well, first of all, I have to chime in and just say Superman and the Big Easy. There you go.
Yeah.
My favorite Beatty movies. And the Big Easy, one of the great underrated films of all time, by the way. If you've never seen
it.
that film.
Movie
It's not
jail.
Movie Jail because it's so
Movie
under the
Jail?
radar, but
Yeah,
that is a
it's a little-
fantastic movie. But so let me ask you something I ask everyone who comes on our show. What is your favorite movie of all time? Whoever wants to take the lead
Krumholtz.
there.
My favorite.
Yeah.
So not the best in my opinion. My favorite.
Yeah.
Is
Much more interesting.
Is Coming to America.
No kidding. Oh, wow.
That's a
Easy peasy,
great
George and
movie.
Is that one you watched over and over? Do you have it memorized?
I've seen it hundreds of
Yeah.
times.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
And I have a personal connection to it in a way. So the movie's shot in Queens. I'm from Queens, and the McDowell's in the movie was a Wendy's that my dad and I used to go to all the time because it was across the street from the movie theater we used to go see movies at. So we'd always go to the Wendy's, and one day we went to go to the movies and go to the Wendy's, and the Wendy's was fucking closed, and it had been transformed into something called McDowell's. And my dad and I were like, this is impossible. Like, there can't be a McDowell's.
Yeah.
This is so crazy. And we went, and the door was locked. And my dad knocked on the door, and a guy answered the door and said, "Hey, this is actually it's a movie set. It's for an Eddie Murphy movie." And the next year it came out. That movie, John Landis. That movie is by far just tour de force. Eddie Murphy, John Landis, so well paced. Everything about that movie is amazing, in my opinion. That's to me the quintessential. That's like the peak of '80s comedies,
And
right?
yeah.
And you've got your Eddie Murphy movies and your Bill Murray movies, your Dan Aykroyd movies, your Chase movies, and your John Candy movies, and of all those movies of which John Landis basically
was responsible for many.
I just think Coming to America is the sweetest, most sort of dialed in, perfect comedy.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
More
That was
people
good.
say comedy in here than the Academy, certainly. Certainly.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You know?
true. If it's a comedy, it doesn't get any respect.
But that movie never pushed its sweetness. That's what made it work, too.
Nope.
Some of these Apatow films, like 40-Year-Old Virgin, same thing. They didn't push that sweetness, and it just happened, and you get to really enjoy it going sentimental and not feeling false or feeling forced or anything.
Or tacked on.
Coming to America did that, like 20 years ago.
Landis.
Yep.
Landis. Go ahead,
Thomas?
I get to give these perfect monologues. I'm supposed to follow that with like, oh, my favorite movie is.
Start talking about your family.
Ah, God.
That's the best you got going for you. Right now. Let's be honest with you.
I'm gonna stay away from obscure food movies from the 20s, which are probably my favorite, and say Groundhog Day.
Yay, Groundhog
Yeah.
Day! That's a good, very
Obviously,
good
Karen's
answer.
the Bill Murray fan.
Yeah.
You have both
there.
answered correctly.
Thank you.
I am curious about what films of the 20s, though. I'm a.
Are you? If
I
you
do like some early.
all right, just to really slow this thing down.
we'll get it over
I'll
with.
just say Trouble in Paradise is my favorite movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's an Ernst Lubitsch movie. It's before the censors. It's sexy. It's funny. It's like one of the greatest romantic comedies of all time.
Really?
Check it out.
What's it
I
called
am-
again?
Trouble in Paradise.
I'm trying to add more Lubitsch to my.
He's
to
my favorite.
Diet. He's
Yeah.
really amazing. Yeah, he's really
Can
impressive.
I give my close second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because Defending Your Life.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Possibly greatest
Yeah.
concept for a movie.
Is that your favorite movie?
Ever.
That is my second favorite movie.
Oh,
there you
I
go.
watched it last night again. I quote it all the
Possibly
great
the
Albert
greatest
Brooks
concept.
is my hero.
Yeah.
He's my hero.
Oh, okay. There
I
you
would
go.
find Lost in America even a little funnier than that.
Yeah. Oh,
But
really?
Defending Your Life
But
is amazing.
God damn it,
Real
it's
life
just
is amazing.
The greatest concept for a movie.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
Defend your life against your ability
Your
to
own fears.
face
Yeah.
fears
Yeah.
before you move on. Amazing.
That one and Groundhog Day. I feel like those are the kind of movies that haunt comedy
year.
writers.
Same year.
Yeah.
All night. Yeah.
It
You
does
just you're like, who thought of that concept?
Yeah.
How is it so good?
The amazing thing about Groundhog Day is it holds up. They had a Harold Ramis tribute night over at the New Beverly Cinema, the greatest
theater in the
town.
history of the earth.
And we watched it, and it was, it holds up.
You still cry when
Someone-
he tries to save that old man. You just do.
Yeah.
You just can't help it.
Someone said it was the closest we've had to a Frank Capra movie in modern times. It's like
Right.
the perfect Frank Capra movie.
Clearly,
I thought that
that's
was
why I would like it, because
Yeah.
I'm actually 150 years old.
I feel like Lubitsch.
Can you move your leg? God damn it!
You,
Oh, God.
Tom,
I'm
you
gonna
have
sit
a
around you
you have a
like that.
Harold Ramis thing going on with your voice. It's kind of awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the best compliment ever.
Oh, he does.
Like
Did
a
you
little
hear
Harold
that?
Ramis
Tell him
thing.
not to cross the streams.
Does
or
it
whatever.
sound?
Tell him about
Are you
the
saying
twins.
that it sounds Kermitish?
No, Harold Ramis-y. Not Curitish.
Got a little Kermit to it.
Harold
love
Ramis
it.
sounds
Nice.
pretty Kermit.
Yeah, I like Kermit too. I'll take them both.
Say
love
Prince
it.
is dead.
Prince dead.
Call Boris Karloff a cocksucker. That's a different movie.
I'm just saying, I just heard it.
Here, I'm going to just completely change subjects. David, tell me what this is.
Oh God.
Today it's going to be mild and partly cloudy. You know, the Nazis used to call this weather Verhunzenbehüten Arhunzbesk,
Jesus.
which the rough translation is, please don't have sex with your mother. I don't know why they called this weather that. It was one of those loose interpretations. Anyway, it's mild, it's partly cloudy. You should wear a sweater, perhaps. Do whatever the hell you want. Leave me alone.
So I looked up what this was on a day like it seems like it's just launching, correct?
Yeah, it launched yesterday.
Explain.
Oh.
Okay. It's it's called WeatherFrom.com. It's a website. It's a weather website. It's a comedy weather website. The idea was to create a bunch of characters that would, and then film a bunch of vignettes for every different type of weather, and then you'd go to the site and choose which character you'd like to have read you your weather for your local town. What ended up happening was this character was so much more impactful than the ones they filmed, so we launched with this character. She is basically a ritzy old lady who lives in Boca Raton, and kind of based on my grandmother. And they put me in the guys from Bad Grandpa, the guys who did Bad Grandpa, Alterian.
Great.
They should
have won the Oscar, by the way.
Yeah, because I agree.
Love that movie.
I agree.
Cried 3 times.
Because they not
Love
only
that movie.
did the makeup for the film, but for the people 3
So
feet away.
up
Anyway,
close,
that's why they should have won.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you had makeup on?
So I'm in full prosthetic
It
makeup.
nails
Every centimeter.
everything.
Here, I'll show you a picture.
It's pretty amazing. He looks great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
That's so cool.
And
It's a good idea, too.
So we there's if you go there, you basically you can put in your zip code. It's all accurate. It hooks up to the National Weather Service.
Wow.
We don't get too specific because it's not like we talk about cold fronts or low fronts. She wouldn't bother talking about that. But you can also just keep clicking random forecasts, and you can watch all 35 of the videos.
Okay.
And that's one of them. That's not even my favorite one.
Oh, well, there you
We
go.
did his weather from his hometown. At the time, she was on the phone, and it was thunder and lightning. And I was like waiting for her to get struck by lightning because old people are always worried about that when they're on the phone.
Oh my God.
She looks like an old Jewish grandmother.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And
you
by
look
she, I mean
awesome.
him.
It's pretty amazing.
Pretty cool.
They are all awesome. I have sat there and clicked all 35. And,
Yes. There's one where my favorite is there's one where I talk about how much I don't love Jurassic Park, but I love the skinny tall actor who's wearing the leather jacket, and I can't remember his name, so I call my son and I say, "What's the name of that actor? He's a very good actor. He's tall. He wears glasses. He's got a sexy yes." And I hang up and I say, Jeffrey Goldblum. He is, I love it. He's always moving this. He's wandering, his eyes are always wandering this way and that. And he's very pensive. I like that quality in an actor. That's a good quality. And then I say, I'd like to eat his ass out.
Meanwhile, you have no idea how cold or hot it is.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's the cool thing about it is I just say the weather and then we talk about whatever.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
Is it improvised or is it?
It's scripted and improvised.
Yeah.
One of the improvised ones we did was me on the phone with an Indian telemarketer, and it basically I get off the phone. We're talking about whatever. Then I get off the phone and just basically say, the Indians are wonderful people, but they eat shit. What is that shit? And I just go off on Indian food for like a good 30 seconds. It's very funny. It's random, but
And
it's
her
funny.
set is really great too. The whole set has a really wonderful feel to it.
Yeah,
it's kind of
it's
pastel-y.
cool. Thanks
it's
for
nice.
Thanks
Yeah,
for the plug.
I was like poking around, see what you're up to, and IMDb said you were doing that,
That's
and I went, "What the
great.
hell is that?" And
Yeah.
it turns out this is a really funny thing.
It's
been
happening
fun.
yesterday?
And it just launched.
Yeah.
Just launched.
Yeah.
So
Busy
We're
week.
excited about it.
WeatherFrom.com. There you go. It was the
WeatherFrom.com.
a couple more things. I got a couple things to get to before we wrap the show, but I wanted to find out something that Karen would be interested in. Is your dog in the Big Ask?
Yeah.
Explain
Yeah.
how.
And she's the reason we won the ensemble award.
Oh, yes?
Definitely.
Just basically, so there was the character of Grousley the dog, who was supposed to be sort of a nondescript desert dog. And when I first met with him, I was like, you should use my dog, because I won't charge you anything, and it's my dog, so you'll get a familiarity with me. Like, it won't be, I hate like movie dogs where it's
they're
like
looking
it cuts
just-
and they're looking
right.
It's awful. And I said, we're going to get a real performance out of a real dog. And my dog is very expressive because she's half boxer. Don't laugh, because
This is very important.
and
I love the concept of hating working with movie dogs. They're so uppity. Those movie
they
dogs.
are. Oh, dude, you'd be
Eye
surprised.
contact.
I worked with a Portuguese Padango once. Fucking
Those
diva.
Padangos.
Fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Typical Padango, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the worst.
Those
flat
dogs.
as a board. So couldn't get any action with her either. I'm sorry, that's great. This guy, so I was like, we should use my dog, and he was like, I don't know. I was like, dude, you trust me. I've worked with movie dogs. It's a pain in the ass. The trainer's there.
Yeah.
The guy, whatever, the ASPCA guy's watching. Like, let's just use my dog. And he came over for a wardrobe fitting one day, and as soon as he walked in, he was like, holy shit, your dog is the nondescript desert dog. Because she is. She kind of does. She's a boxer, German Shepherd mix. She doesn't look like anything. And she's fucking awesome in the movie, wouldn't you say?
She's amazing. And by the way, that's not what the way it happened. Is David was like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I just want to ask. There's something I want to ask you. I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know if I'm overstepping or something."
You said no.
I didn't say. I said let's meet the dog, but I thought it was funny in the moment. I was like,
I take that as no.
Krumholtz agreed to be in my movie, and now he's asking me the favor. I'm like, what? Yeah, bring your whole family. Whatever you want to do, let's do it.
That's so.
But she was like the best dog. I mean,
there's a scene in the movie where there's a couple scenes in the movie where I curse her out. We're sitting in this room and I curse her out because, and then basically I'm cursing myself out, but doing it to her. And we've got some great shots of her, and she's my dog, and I'm in her face crying and cursing her out, and you can see her kind of little eyebrows kind of.
Yeah, she's like, what's happening?
Because she's not acting. She's
She's
really
not.
in
She's
that
like-
moment.
Exactly. She's like, what's going on with Dad? With my dude here, with my person. So
I just felt bad for
It
dogs
worked.
who are like in an odor remover print ad. They're like,
dude.
hey, and they don't know it's telling you how much the dog stinks. You gotta get rid of the smell. They're just all psyched to be in a print ad.
that movie Due Date with Robert Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis. There's that scene where Robert Downey Jr. full-on spits in the French bulldog's face. He goes, and he spits right in the dog's face, which made me fucking laugh. I mean, I honestly, that movie's not great. I fell out of my chair, and I actually was privileged enough to work with Downey Jr. earlier last year, and I was like, I just got to ask you, was that like in the script that you spit in the dog's face, or was it improvised? It had to have been improvised. On one of the takes, you spit in the dog's face, and by the way, the dog takes it like, and it was in the script.
Oh my god!
They wrote. He spits in the dog's face.
He's just excited. He doesn't even know he's in a movie. Next thing he spit in the face.
He doesn't even know it's Robert Downey Jr. spitting at him.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Oh, one last project I got to ask you about coming up, because we're big Stern fans.
Yeah.
We heard Seth Rogen on the Howard Stern show
Ike
talking about.
Barinholtz, friend of the show.
He was on recently too. He
on
killed
Howard
it.
Stern.
He did, yeah.
Mike and I work at the same gym, and this morning
Oh, you do?
he was very nice to me because he watched the website and he told me.
Well,
that's cool.
Mention that you were here in the garage.
Yeah, I will.
Ike sat right there,
Yeah.
and then 4 days later was on the Stern Show. You do the math.
Yeah, wow. That'd be awesome.
Pack your bags for New
Things
York.
are turning up.
This is it.
Wait, did you talk about our show at the gym with Ike Barinholtz?
Oh, no.
WeatherFrom.
Not yet, but I will. I will.
I thought you said, yeah. I saw the video.
I'll
It's
be
very
like, I
funny.
did the Movie Guys podcast.
I was like,
with
wow.
him.
What? I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure Ike doesn't remember being on this show. Anyway.
But
He wasn't awake. We tied him up.
but seems you're part of Sausage Party.
Yeah.
And the way Seth describes this movie, it sounds like the greatest thing I'll ever see.
I will say this. It's the funniest script I've ever read.
And it is, I should say, a animated CGI 3D movie,
It's a-
but
it's all
decidedly
So
adult.
It's basically like a filthy Toy Story with, instead of toys, food items. And I play a Middle Eastern or Arab lavash wrap. And I'm not. That's all I'm going to say. But I will say this. It is extremely filthy, but like sometimes there are filthy movies and it's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's brilliantly filthy.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
It's going to shock people.
Good.
I'm the MPAA is going to have a problem. There is an orgy scene that I watched the other day. That is
Make you hungry?
Well, Seth actually tweeted him watching the animation guys showed him the pre-visualization of that scene.
Yeah.
And he had someone film him and Evan Goldberger's writing partner and a few other people watching it to see their reactions. And just their reactions are hilariously funny. Because it's them going like, oh! And it goes on for a good, it's literally like a 7-minute montage of the most dirty orgy shit you've ever seen, but it's food items doing it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, me too.
Basically, you see my balls in it, like
I was
I'm a
gonna
lavash
say,
wrap
do you
with
have
with
little
balls.
legs like that?
You had to look
I
up
had
on
to look
lavash
up. I didn't know what
Yeah,
it was.
it's like an Arab burrito.
And then you just have like little legs and balls on there. Nice.
Yeah, I have little legs and balls. I have a goatee.
Fabulous.
Very exciting.
That'll be nice.
I've always wondered about editors who have to edit porn, and do they just get really kind of beat down by it? Imagine the animators that had to do this. They're like, is this right? Are we supposed to be doing this with a what?
But the funny thing about things like this is the MPAA is you can't show a lavash wrap raping a cucumber. You can't. There's no precedent for it, right?
Exactly.
It's only technically dirty in their heads.
They actually did show me a little thing of Edward Norton plays a bagel, and he's like my enemy because he's really Jewy and chewy. And anyway, there's a moment. So we have gay sex. We get gay for each other, and there's a moment where I was telling him this earlier tonight. He comes up under between my legs where my balls are hanging. He grabs my balls and he stretches my balls sack over his eyes and pretends like my balls are his two eyes and goes, I mean, there's that. And
That's a
and
thing.
Seth and I was like, that's
fantastic.
the craziest thing. And they were like, yeah, the MPAA. That's for the MPAA. They're never going to let us get away with that. I'm like, why? Why is that bad? It's a bagel putting a lavash's human balls on his eyes. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing right.
What's the code? What's the code for that? I want to see
What I already want as a memento, if you could ever get it, is the initial MPAA cut list framed from that movie. Because the descriptions would be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the greatest artifact to get from that movie. Be like, grape sticks penis in this. And,
Well, have you guys seen that documentary? This film is not yet rated.
I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah,
filmmaker
it's pretty-
too, and I haven't
yeah,
seen
it's
it.
You haven't seen it, Paul?
Movie? I'm in movie jail all over the
pretty
place.
messed
today.
up.
I haven't seen it either.
It's all about-
I know I would get angry at that.
Yeah, it's all
yeah.
about how studios have pull with the MPAA, so they can show dick, they can show all kinds of stuff from now and then. But independent movies who don't have that kind of pull do way less dirty shit and get slapped with NC-17 ratings.
Yeah.
So it's all about the cash and just about who actually votes on what a rating should be. And it's it's basically like a society of housewives from Studio City or Burbank or North Hollywood, and that's who defines how movies are rated. It's really
it's
strange.
like 10
man.
people. It's
10
tiny
people.
group of people. Yeah.
Make a note, Thomas, while you're still under the radar. More cock in your movies before you can't.
Man,
before
I
you can't
know.
have any more cock.
I know.
I did. I show my ass in it, and The actresses saw my dick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
You didn't
sure.
sock it or anything?
No.
Here's the problem. This was
You can't sock it. That's what he's saying.
This was an ultra low budget. Well, exactly.
Can't
but
contain it.
I could sock the tip maybe.
Oh,
This was an
boy.
ultra low budget
God.
movie. So we had the ultra low budget cocksock,
which
was basically like see through. And like almost like it was almost
A
like
dress
you know
sock.
it almost was the consistency of like a lunch lady's
So it was a hairnet.
I'll say it. I'll say it. It was a terrible cocksock.
And what happened was,
one
so we
in
do the
minutes of
scene,
yeah.
and we're doing the scene, and I'm thinking, okay, I got my cocksock. This is gonna be, and it's basically I reveal myself, I disrobe myself toward the end of the movie to the 3 girls I've asked to have sex with me, and so we do the first take, and I disrobe myself, and they were not expecting to see this limp cocksock, and I'm sure you have this outtake as well. They just literally guffawed themselves off the bed they were sitting on.
yeah.
And of course, I'm like, so then the next take was like, fuck it, man. Might as well just show my dick and balls. And so then I just did. I went full
Yep.
frontal on set.
Well, there
Yeah.
you
What do
go.
you think of that, pal?
That should be the new
I thought it was
Hollywood
great.
currency. You know,
Yeah.
like, well, how many actresses have you shown your dick to? About 10.
Yeah.
10? I got that beat.
Then it could get real creepy. It could get real creepy real fast, though, because guys are trying to do each other, and the actresses are like, stop showing us your cock.
Well, it was especially creepy because I was before I burned the wart off.
Yeah.
Hey-o.
Yeah, that was
Hey-o. What time is it? Oh, yeah. I look at a picture of my 6-week-old daughter.
It's time for What Did You See This Week? What did you see
We have
this
themes.
week? We have themes.
So wait, have we officially moved on from the wart on dick joke? I do like a good wart.
I
on
like
a
to
dick
put
joke.
music.
Do you hear that
after
transition?
that. Oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
a pro
Gotcha.
at
I
work
wasn't
right
sure
there.
what that meant.
That
A lot
music,
of podcasts don't even transition.
that music leaves everything behind it.
Oh boy.
So what did you see this week? I put it to the table. Did you see anything? I think-
Godzilla twice.
You saw it twice?
Wow.
You had to go in 3D?
Wow.
Yeah, I went in 3D. It's quite the movie in 3D. Oh, I saw it with you because I wanted to see it with you. I didn't want to wait till Charlie got back. Charlie got back. He said, "You want to see Godzilla?" I
You
said,
saw it the same day?
"No. One night later."
Oh, okay.
Is
But
it as boring as everyone says it is?
Okay, hold on a second
Yes.
here. First of all, my opinion doesn't count once again because I spent Thursday through yesterday watching Godzilla movies. I've watched like every Godzilla movie. I watched everything. So, of course I liked Godzilla. But it doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter, right?
Well, you often say that you're just happy that movies exist.
Well, I know.
So it's the fact that there's a new Godzilla makes you happy. We already know how you.
It makes me so
I
happy.
was
Oh,
so
it's
thrilled,
good.
and
How great was that Godzilla redesign?
The
How great was
first-
how they treated him?
but the first
And
10
shot
minutes
it.
was shot out of a cannon. The first 10 minutes, I was like, "This is going to be the greatest Godzilla movie ever," and then it just ground to a halt. That's where they.
No, it
I don't want to give any spoilers, but
Grind to a halt.
oh my god.
Okay.
I don't want to talk too much.
First of all, here's what the movie
I've read
does.
I've
right?
read a few Facebook rants about how terrible it is, how boring it is.
Okay, well, I disagree with everybody on all these things. But here, let me just say this: what the movie decided to make was to take a realistic version of what it's like to be in a city where 2 giant creatures are fighting. Which is such a cool aspect of that because Godzilla movies, especially the ones that reboot, or the first one in Godzilla 1985 and the 1998 Godzilla, which I dared to rewatch. That movie is a piece of shit, but not necessarily for what people say about it. First of all, where is the precedent of great characters in a Godzilla movie? I ask you, after watching an entire weekend of Godzilla movies, who's your favorite? The space pilot from Godzilla vs. Gigan or the scientist from Godzilla vs. Megalon?
That's why I say
whatever.
let's not have them at all. Let's have a lot less of them.
Well,
You
that
know,
might
that's
be
true.
might be the problem.
Well, that is destroy all monsters. But anyway.
Well, that might be the problem, which is what you said, a realistic version of 2 giant monsters fighting. I don't want realism if I'm going to Godzilla.
Well, that's why
Mighty Joe Young was one of the greatest movies. Why? Because in the first 5 minutes, you get a big-ass monkey, and then it's just big-ass monkey for the rest of the movie.
And to be honest with you, while this
Pacific
movie was
Rim?
lambasted,
Pacific Rim.
I love that
amazing.
movie.
That
Right?
movie's amazing.
That's a great
I love
And,
that movie.
and if you as a theater experience at home, yeah, but in theaters, that movie is sick.
You know, Pacific Rim
mind blowing, man.
probably still is the best Godzilla movie of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But I like Godzilla.
But there's a holy shit
Kaiju
moment.
movie.
There's a holy shit moment in Pacific Rim. I mean, you had a year when the when it finally we see wings on one of those things because. There are no rules as to what the kaiju are.
Yeah.
So when one of them mounts that building and just spreads its wings, you're like,
fuck.
I didn't have that
awesome.
moment in Godzilla. I wish I did.
Did you see Pacific Rim?
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Too.
But just for
I
fun-
just want to say I saw Bridget Jones' Diary.
and that is true because Karen had a birthday, and that's one of her favorite movies.
Is it your birthday movie? Do you watch that every year?
I had 2 girlfriends come over, and we watched it so we could talk about Colin Firth and Hugh Grant.
What's your birthday? When's your birthday?
May 19th.
Oh my God! Mine is May 15th.
Happy birthday.
One thing you can count on, though, from the Godzilla movie that we called correctly is however much fun the movie's having, as soon as you cut to Ken Watanabe, it's time for gravitas.
Yes.
So we realize that every time, oh my God, it's Godzilla! Oh my God, it's Godzilla! You cut to
by the way-
Ken Watanabe, and he will go, yes,
But by the way,
Godzilla comes to destroy. He's always serious.
you and I had the moment. I had it with Charlie. Did everybody have this moment when he finally it comes down to say the words Godzilla,
Yeah.
and it's Ken Watanabe, and he's looking at the screen. He goes, "They called him Godzilla." Like he just eats that line. Like,
Fucking
I
nailed
get
it.
to say the line. It kills it.
So anyway, that's screw this.
It's made me smile so much.
What's that Clint Eastwood movie that he's awesome in? The one
Unforgiven?
No, not Ken Watanabe.
Oh, Ken! Whoa! Letters to Iwo Jima.
Yeah, Letters to Iwo Jima. It's like
It's like, where's the movie where Clint Eastwood is awesome? That's right.
It's not Paint Your Way.
Iwo
In.
Jima.
I know it's not.
Yes. Let us go to Iwo Jima.
So just for fun, if you want to read a Godzilla review as Ken Watanabe, I've pulled a few here. And it's also fun to find out where Rotten Tomatoes gets their reviews from. So here's where their collected opinions come from. For example, Robert wrote him.
Wow.
Wow, did I do that?
Be careful.
Wow.
Fuck this.
It's
Never mind. Forget the bit. The bit is done. The bit is done. Let's move on to...
We'll hold that one back out.
Wow.
Next time
That'll
Ken
be
Watanabe-
next week. We'll be doing retraction.
I apologize.
Apology tour.
Big retractions on Godzilla, though. We tried to preview that last week. I said like 12 things that never happened in that movie. He fights a giant octopus.
You watch a trailer, you think... you think
Perfect example of where that speech that David Strathairn gives in the commercial preview does not happen in the movie.
Yeah.
Some of you have friends in the family or friends in the city.
Well,
and
you
family.
probably worked on that trailer, didn't you?
No, actually not. No, I did not work on
'Cause
Godzilla.
He works on most of the trailers.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and I also read you were an assistant to the producer of all of the Underworld movies, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was a assistant and then a production coordinator on one of them, Underworld 3, I think.
Okay.
One of those,
Yeah.
I thought that
I've
was
got the
pretty
wolf
cool.
head at home, and every Halloween I put
Oh,
on the
it's
lichen
fantastic.
head, and
Rise of the Lichens.
Yeah, Rise of the Lichens.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have the lichen head, and I just terrify children.
Oh my
Every
God,
Halloween,
yes.
I have candy, and I open the door, and they just cry. It's great. It's so great. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because you also worked in that capacity for like Crank and Gamer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now you
You
made
worked,
and then you made a comedy with
Yeah.
drama.
Just a quiet little movie. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to the because Karen is going to go away and do Pump Boys and Dinettes up in Northern California. She's going to do a run of a big old musical up there. So she this will be her final
Yeah.
Karen's birthdays for a while until she comes back. So let's celebrate the birthdays of those who make the movies. Here we go.
All right, let's start off our week of birthdays by wishing a very happy birthday to one of our favorite Viners, Will Sasso. Yay!
yes.
He turns 38, but can play anywhere from Bill Clinton to Randy Newman. He does impersonations of all those crazy people, and I just think that's an interesting... To go from someone like Bill Clinton to Randy Newman. Very, very interesting to me. Anyway, everyone knows him from his work on Mad TV, The Three Stooges, and Best in Show. But we here at the Movie Guys love him for his Vine videos. So I was kicking around and I found this one. It's like an extended one where they put him together of him driving as Arnold Schwarzenegger. So take a listen to this.
You want to hear a funny Schwarzenegger story? This is a true story. This is a true story.
That.
Let's listen closely then.
Dueling Schwarzeneggers.
So I had a friend who was a PA who worked on one of those sort of mid '90s
Eraser?
demon. No, that when he was
Last
against
Days.
demons. Last
End of
Day, End of
Days.
Days. It was there was another one. I think it was the other. Anyway, so he was put in charge of watching Arnold's trailer. Making sure everything. And Arnold had a big giant bus, basically. And Arnold had a friend working on the film, a female stunt woman who he had worked with many, many times. Her name happened to be Maria, oddly enough. And he swears he saw this happen, and I believe him. that the Maria walked past Arnold's trailer, and Arnold's trailer door opened, and Arnold stepped out and said, "Hey Maria, it's good to see you today." And she said, "Oh God, thanks, Arnold." And he said, "Yeah, you're looking very beautiful." And she said, "Oh, thanks. That's very sweet, Arnold." And he goes, "Yeah, I'd like to give you a 73." And she goes, "What's a 73?" And he goes, "It's a 69 with 4 of my fingers in your ass."
Holy shit.
And he swears.
Watch Pumping Iron.
I love the
Says that shit.
73 story. It's amazing.
And none of us have any problem believing that.
Yeah, no,
really.
it's totally
I
true.
have no problem believing that.
You can't.
Well, you can't make that up.
I'm sorry. Does this show normally not go that blue?
No, that was perfect.
Okay,
That's
okay.
right in the pocket for us.
Go!
Oh, here it is.
This is bullshit. Come on, look what you're doing. Hi. Yeah, hi. Where am I? Fuck you! Sweet Caroline.
It's just Arnold driving around.
Yeah, look at this here. It's like a movie set. The alien space station maze, killing aliens. Pew, pew. Yeah, hi. I'm in Canada. After you, eh? Yeah, look at this tree. Yeah, look at this here. It's like we're back in the movie set, the alien space station maze.
Anyway.
This goes on and on.
Kills with his
And at
vibe.
no point does he
Wow,
mention
that's good.
73, sadly.
73, wow.
All right, so now from him, from Arnold Schwarzenegger driving around, we're going to wish a happy birthday to Jim Broadbent, who turned 64 but can play anywhere from Mr. Jones in Bridget Jones' Diary
There you go.
to Mr. Thatcher in The Iron
That
Lady.
dude's 64?
Isn't that
God,
crazy?
He looks like 89.
He's been playing
Right?
64
My
forever.
God, not looking
Right?
great.
But he is well known as a supporting actor and even won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in what film? I throw it to the table.
I could tell you. but
I know you
I
know.
will
Does
hold.
anybody know?
Oh, man.
He won an
Oh
Academy
yeah,
Award
it's the
Best
what's
Supporting
her
actor.
name? It loses her mind. Is it that one? Yeah.
Yes, Iris.
That's what it's
Very
called.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice
Wow,
work.
wow.
Not
Yeah.
Blue
Well
Iris.
done.
No, not
Well
Blue
done.
Iris. That's a totally different thing. But now this is kind of cool little bit of trivia. He has quite a history of working with award-winning and award-nominated actresses. In the year 2001 alone, he worked with 3 such women. Can you name them and the movies they were nominated for? Big actresses who eventually went on to win awards for their acting.
I believe he was in Moulin Rouge with Nicole Kidman.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
And Iris was not then?
Iris was one of
Oh,
them.
Iris was then.
And the other one...
And Judi Dench won.
Right, and that was in 2001. All of these were in 2001. And what other one I just watched?
Oh, Bridget Jones'
Bridget
Diary.
Jones'
yes.
Renee Zellweger.
Who won for Cold Mountain eventually.
Yes, isn't that cool? So it's kind of neat
You
to think
guys
that
are unbelievable.
he
Yeah.
rubs
Good-
off
good
on these
stuff.
people.
You got to hang out with Jim Broadbent in your movie.
Albert
You
Pune,
get-
I got. Jim Broadbent, I'm lost.
I just saw him like in Bridget Jones, and he's so adorable. And then I saw it was his birthday. And speaking of birthdays, here's a first for the movie, guys. Not only is it my birthday like 2 days ago, but also we have a birthday celebrant in the room with us, which is crazy. I've never had that. So happy birthday to David Krumholtz, who turns 36, but can play anywhere from an elf to Mr. Universe.
That's right.
I think that's quite a range, sir.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And I gotta tell you, a lot of times whenever we do birthdays, I like to look up stuff like finding out who had other roles that they turned down. So I looked up to see if you were ever naked in a movie.
Yeah.
And I found out that half of your IMDb he was naked, and now we found out today that he was showing his balls to everybody. And on Mr. Skin, they were saying you're naked left and right. It's crazy.
Oh, because of Slums Beverly Hills.
Yes.
I'm not naked, but my penis is
I saw your
prominent.
penis.
Yeah, sure. Not bad, huh?
Not bad. I can understand why.
That's
I
your
can
balls.
understand why they needed the bigger sock for you. So I'm just very
If
excited.
he big asks you anything.
Yeah.
What's that line? What's the line that Jason Ritter says in our movie about some guys are growers, some guys are...
Showers or growers?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I'm not much of a grower. That's about all you got.
Ew.
Unfortunately.
All right. Well, it was good for the. They have like little screenshots, so check that out.
Yeah.
Another thing that I thought was kind
the
of.
fuck?
I'm just doing my
Ladies.
research.
This is not research. Perversion.
This is my research for the show. And also, this is kind of fun little weird little comedy website that said that you had some photos stolen from your phone today. It's just some weird thing. If you
What?
look up your name
Are
and
you
you put
fucking with me?
No, and it's all BS because when you look at the photos, the pictures that someone took at the museum and a picture of someone's dog. And it's just this funny, weird little website.
Oh, that's so weird.
I'll have to show you that. That's weird.
Why
But-
would they...
They're
shoot-
stalking.
They stole the weirdest pictures.
I know that's what they're
Most
saying.
random
They're
photo.
saying that you're this great art connoisseur. So
What?
Yeah, I don't know. People love
Well,
you.
that's true.
Is that
People
true?
love
No,
you.
literally not at all.
And lastly,
weird.
because since you're stuck in the garage with us, Lee, you know how much I love to hear celebrities sing.
There are two things that I know about Karen. One, pre-wart cock pics are her favorite.
Yeah.
And she loves hearing celebrity sing.
We do have celebrities sing on our show every week.
Love
That's
it.
good.
And so this week, I looked up our friend David, and I don't know why this is happening, but he put it on the internet, so I'm going to share it with all of you.
Oh, God.
Here he is, David Krumholtz, singing Adele's Someone Like You.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you.
He looks like he's sitting on his couch at home just singing.
Don't forget me.
Well, that wraps another Showcast, everybody. Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Movie Guys, as well as YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud.
Still going.
And sometimes it's
that was a drunken night.
Where else are we? LinkedIn, Instagram, Vine, all that shit. Thanks to Thomas Beatty and David Krumholtz.
Thank you, guys.
Happy
Movie
birthday,
guys,
David!
Thank you. Happy birthday to you.
Final plugs, The Big Ask on VOD, that's iTunes, and all over hell, apparently. And then look forward, if you're in Southern California, at
the one
some
theater that it's playing
here
in.
in
Is it at the Sundance?
Lemley, North Hollywood.
Oh, Lemley, North Hollywood.
Great theater, yeah.
In
You're-
Select
oh, yeah, that's
Theater
close.
on May 3rd.
Yeah.
The NoHo
Right around
Sunday.
the corner, yeah.
Yeah. Your counter programming for Maleficent. Go and see this instead. The Big Ask, right?
Yeah. I heard that movie's a real piece of shit.
There you go.
I heard it's. You wait and see. I heard that is a disaster.
Thanks to Jamie Clark Elvington for watching the board, and for Steve Schultz for his writing contributions to the show every week. And remember, you can find everything we're up to at themovieguys.net. We'll be back next week with great new guests, previews, I should say, of Maleficent and Million Ways to Die in the West. We'll give them a thorough once-over, and we'll see you then.
Until then, look up Albert Kuhn.